You are live. When I want to get the banner on, I just touch it.
Yes.
I know it's live and I don't see any numbers moving.
What numbers?
Like the time before I saw the time. I see it.
It takes a while. Oh, dogs are really going off. Okay, if you spray, let me know so I can cover my glasses because the spray gets into my glasses or whatever. All right. You're going to be come and check every so often?
Sure. Nope.
Okay, today's date is what?
The second.
The 2nd of February. What do they call this month?
Moorish History Month.
No, they don't. They don't call it Moorish History Month.
They call
Black
it
History
Month.
They call it Black History Month. We want to talk about that briefly. Did I just hear somebody knock?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have an interesting topic. We want to talk about this word called black. B-L-A-C-K. I've written about it, actually quite a bit of papers and also a book as well, just to catch the attention of people, even though it's not really correct. And that's this thing called black. Black history, black man, etc., etc. I actually wrote a book back in, oh my God, can you believe this? 1988.
Huh.
Is that when you were born? 1988. Look how young I was back then.
Wow. Isn't that something? I had just graduated from high school a year prior.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the book, The Black Man According to God. Not according to man. The black man according to God. And I want to talk about this, and I got a lot of, not going to be able to do all this because it is so much. This is a fabulous book, especially the back part of the book, which is such a revelation of, I have a list of contributors to societies, the world, the planet, with patent numbers, as well as inventors of certain things. But I'm not going to go into that. I want to really talk about this subject, black, B-L-A-C-K. And I want you to think about this, and it's a question. Is there an advantage in being black? Is there a blessing in being black? All right. What is this? What is this thing about black? And I want to share with you, and I'm going to actually update this book. Like I said, this was written back in 1988. I have a part 2 and a part 3 that I never released. And I'm thinking about releasing it this year, Lady Womack.
That feels
It begins to give you insight too of this word black, and also on the sons of Canaan, which is something you really don't hear about. And a lot of you probably heard, let me see if I should even bring this up. Hold on, let me find a chapter. It's a real serious subject, especially since we are in the year 2024 and in the month of February, which is considered Black History Month. Somebody has sent me, because I said, you you don't have other nationalities that have like a, they don't, there's no such thing as a color month. They have China, I think they call it Chinese Asian something, whatever, but you still don't hear, it's not yellow history.
Right.
It's not red history.
Right.
Someone told me, well, they have, yeah, but no, we're the only, have you ever heard of yellow history month?
Never.
Red history month?
No.
White history month?
No.
Why is there a month called Black History Month?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want y'all to think about that. Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about the untold truth of Black people, which was made. Black people were made, not created.
Mm.
Made, not created. Stay with me, y'all. So the point of order is first things first. The great God never made any such human beings as Negroes,
Wow.
Blacks, or colored. NBC. God never made, nor did he name them, Negroes, Blacks, or colored. Have you ever seen that in the Bible? You find Hittites, you find Canaanites, Amorites, Israelites, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. But God never made human beings as Negroes, Blacks, or colored people and attached them to the human family.
Wow.
All right. First of all, who made you? Who made you? And in order to understand your value, you got to trace back to your origin. In order to understand your value, you have to trace your origin. Now, there are many that want you to believe that your origin is monkeys or molecules, that you are some type of clustered of monkeys or molecules. No, you're a God product.
Yes.
You were created for accomplishment, engineered for success, endowed with the seeds of greatness, to be all that God wants you to be, to do all that he wants you to do, and to have all that he wants you to have. You're not formed from monkeys nor molecules. You know who came up with that theory about monkeys?
You mean Darwin?
Yeah, Darwin. And then later on, when he was getting ready to die, he actually changed that whole thing. Even a whole lot of things that were fabricated. He had a lot of stuff, bones and stuff that were fabricated, etc. Right at the point when he was getting ready to die, I guess he felt guilty and came forth and confessed a lot of stuff. But nevertheless, so who made you? Now, the next question should naturally be, who made the NBC? Who made the Negro? Who made the Black? Who made the colored people? Okay? Think about it. There's no other people on the planet who are described outside of their nationality than people of color that they label Negro, Black, and colored. Somebody from, their roots is from Ireland. They call them what? Irish. Somebody from a group of people from Italy, they call what? Italians, right? From Germany, Germans. And we can go on and on and on. But we're the only people that have been labeled by a color, Black. And is it really even a color? Okay. And we've been labeled also Negro and labeled colored. Are you hearing me? So these are simply man-made entities, man-made labels, man-made actual names. Now, the most difficult task of this is really to convince people that they're not what others say that they are. You are not what others say about you. But most of us have accepted, and it's to the point that it's difficult, it's challenging, it's even hard to even accept that we're something else, because for years we've actually accepted that we should go to a black college and a black church, live in a black community, and support black businesses and elect a black man to be a black president, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and don't even realize why has this label been slapped on us, this thing called black. Who made the NBC? Who made the NBC? It is a man-made entity. Are you getting this? What are you getting out of this, Lady Womack-El?
Oh, I'm just listening to what you're saying, but I know I've heard this teaching before, and you're right. We usually accept what other people say about us and not even question, like, where did that come from? Why are you calling me that?
Now, I have some history here that I'm going to read, and I want you to listen closely and carefully, and I can go into it deeper and deeper, and I have a lot of this in my second and my third book concerning this. It's not in this one. This one gets you to wake up, because you begin to see, first of all, so many things. Even the Bible has been used against you. The Bible doesn't teach it, but the Bible's been used against you, people that you consider yourself black, as though you got your dark color or your pigmentation because you were cursed.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard that before. And this has been propagated through religion, church, and the Bible has been used against you. But it really wasn't used against you. It was just taught to you wrong, because the Bible says that the Bible speaks the total opposite of that. The total opposite.
Yes.
And then there's a scripture that says, what God has blessed, no one can curse. So are you, which one? Are you blessed or are you cursed? And we find in the scripture, it's in this book as well as in the Bible, that you are not cursed. And some of you heard that Ham was cursed, and the Bible doesn't say that at all.
No.
Doesn't say that at all. So I'm going to read you some history right now. Okay, I want you to listen to this. The late Ralph Ellison wrote a powerful book referring to American ex-slaves entitled The Invisible Man. While Ellison gave a vivid account of what it is like to exist, yet not be recognized because of a peerless status, few people consider the fact of an entire people can personify a status of non-existence. Are you hearing this? This book addresses muffled questions in her delusionals of a made-up people, understanding Maya is the real appearing as unreal, and the unreal made to seem real. Unreal, but the unreal made to see as real. It is the everlasting seeming as short-lived, and that which is minute to appear as everlasting. There is a nation within the jurisdiction of the United States that is pure Maya. It is a nation in the semblance of a people, and a people made to look in the likeness of a nation, yet they do not exist, although they have the appearance of citizens, yet as citizens, but not of their own lawful government. They appear real, but are unreal, unrealized, but seem real. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now this is now there are a lot of you, you're not going to stay and you're not going to watch this because you have been taught to hate
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
You have been taught to hate yourself so much that we can go out in the street, walk around the corner, go to the mall, go to a beauty salon, or go to a supermarket, and you could see how our people have been programmed to hate themselves. And actually, everything that I just said here, I don't know if you caught this, they appear real, but are unreal, unrealized, but seem real. How many folks have you seen? Let's take our women, for instance. Let's take our women, and we can get to our men as well. But let's take, I'm talking about our people, right? Because we once got this challenge with identity. How many women can you go to the park, the mall, the supermarket, or church, or a party, and you see these big, gigantic eyelashes that it is evident they're fake. Booty pads, you don't even need those. Weaves. Oh my God, you know, folks, they gonna hate this lady woman. Wigs, weaves, etc. Made up so much like a clown that they appear to be real, but not real. That when it's time, sir, if you do marry someone, if you do marry one of these women, you're going to see it's a totally different woman than the one that you were introduced to, with the big old lashes and the hair down to the back, and the weaves, the makeup, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
That you like, this doesn't look like the person I was dating or seeing, etc. Oh my God. Am I making sense?
Making a lot of sense.
That we have accepted so many things that are not us, that appears real, but is really unrealistic. It's not real.
Wow.
All right. So the greatest, what you got to say about what I just said?
Right now, listening to you, I'm kind of thinking about our people, but I'm also thinking about women, and our women in particular. So it's kind of like, yeah, our people have definitely been trained to hate themselves. Then our women a lot of women have been trained to be fake and not like authentically, what they look like,
but they say they want a real man.
True. But then I think our women, it's kind of like our women have it, I don't know if I would say the worst, because it's like a combination of hating ourselves because
psychosis
of our color, and then
psychosis,
then being a woman attempting to look
delusional.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
I saw someone, it kind of, I don't get frightened, but it kind of frightened me, because, and it was early in the morning, and I'm on my way to the gym, and, I speak to everybody, and when she was standing at the bus stop, and I said, good morning. And when she turned around, the light from the street, because it was still dark, glistened on her eyes, and her eyes looked like a cougar or a tiger.
Whoa.
And I said, whoa. And I said, man, come to find out, she had these artificial I guess with contacts, but
like color contacts?
But they freaked me out because they were like a cat. They were green and green and bluish, and she was standing right under the light because it was still early in the morning. And when she turned around, her eyes, it was like it freaked me out. I was like, oh shoot. Like, you ever see those movies, like somebody's demon possessed? Yeah. And when she looked at it, she's like, good morning. I was like, oh shoot. I had balled up a fist. I was like, if you possessed with the devil, I'm about to knock the devil out of you. And it dawned on me, she had contact lenses. And there's nothing wrong with contact lenses, but I'm saying if you're replacing the actual eye color, and she was dark, that's the whole thing. She was dark skinned, and it was early in the morning. She was under that light. When she turned, it like, whoa. So
And I've seen dark skinned people with actual, real, different color eyes.
Oh yeah,
But it
yeah.
looks
Oh, this
natural.
was not. This
It
was
looks natural,
not.
but you could tell
This
it's
was
there.
fake, dear. This was not real.
Oh yeah.
This was not real. Because I can even see. I can even see what she had even on her hair, which wasn't, you know, her hair.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying.
I'm sure
I'm
it
not
was scary
saying you
because it wasn't natural looking. It probably looked, like you said, like a demon possessed person as opposed to.
Yeah. But how many women say,
natural.
"I want a real man. I don't want no fake man, or I don't want no fake men"? But it's like, if you faking it 2, 3, 4 ways, how do you want something real and you're fake?
You gotta get what you could get.
Okay. I'm kind of going off from this. Oh, you got some of the liquid got on my paper here. So I want to get a little bit more into that, but I want to jump over to this because the greatest mystery. I want to keep reading this right here. The greatest mystery in these United States is the missing true status and identity of today's self-proclaimed African Americans. I'm gonna read it again.
Yeah.
Now, if some of you are interested, when I get this printed, and you want to get a copy of this book, email me, bishop@bishopwomack.com. I wrote this back in 1988, and I have part 2. You know what I need to do? I need to put all 3 books out at the same time. Make it a volume.
Yes.
Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3.
Correct.
I need to get it reprinted, change my picture and stuff, because this was 1988. That was years ago. I was much heavier too in there. Can you tell? With the flat top and everything. So this was back in 1988, and since then I have learned even more. I'm gonna read this again. Lady woman, tell me what you think of this. The greatest mystery in these United States is the missing true status. Because a lot of you think your status is Black, Negro, colored, or African American. Okay? The greatest mystery in these United States is the missing true status and identity of today's self-proclaimed African Americans. Not since the 18 years in the life of Jesus were omitted from the Bible has there been such an unsung mystery. Are African Americans yesterday's Black people? Or were they the Negroes who were colored folks? In a word, who are these people? Who are these people who are Negroes, colored, or colored folks, or African Americans? Who are these? Who are African Americans? And why does the prefix X or so-called historically precedes all their previous names? Okay. Now, I'm going to, there's something called the Stockholm Syndrome. I'm going to give you the opportunity to go and study the Stockholm Syndrome on your own. And then we probably just need to do a whole show on the Stockholm Syndrome. But I'm not going to address that right now. I want to get right into this thing called Black. Okay? You think they're ready for this, Lady Womack?
A few, but most no. I don't, unfortunately.
Okay.
But just go ahead.
All right. So what is meant by the word Black? What is meant by the word B-L-A-C-K, Black? Now, according to science, it means deaf. Question: can a man be a Negro? Can a man be Black? Can a man be colored, or even Ethiopian, which is another word? The answer is no. Why? Because man is made in the image and after the likeness of God. Now, the key here is Black, which is revealed as being a mere word. The word Black is a word, just the word. All words have meanings. All words have vibrations. All words have frequencies. All words have meanings and are subject to definition and interpretation, right? Yeah. Any grammar grade student will clearly show Black as not being a color. Today's Black people loudly proclaiming themselves as being, I'm Black and I'm proud, are too vain or ashamed to look at the black horse they've been riding to nowhere and was never alive. but they must open their eyes to see. Nothing hides the heart of a man from himself like vanity. That's called King Eagle. And it's always a sturdy foe to fight. So, what does the law of the USA say about NBC, Negro, Black, and Colored? What does the law of the USA say about NBC, Negro, Black, or Colored? It is a legal impossibility for the so-called Negroes, Black, and Colored people to free themselves even of a good education in divine, national, and civil laws. Such needed learnings are not nearly as complicated as Harvard, Yale, and the American Bar Association would have you to believe. Most people in the West do not realize the foundation of the U.S. laws that is lodged between the European Latin and the Greek languages. Ironically, the first Bible, which today's United States churches, government, state officers must swear upon, was also written in Koine. Koine is Greek. On a more personal note, the basis of all laws are more of a person's birthright that rest upon the two immutable pillars of status and jurisdiction. First, learn these two principles combined with all testimonies in any lawful endeavor you decide to undertake, and your final judgment will be both honest and just. You are supposed to have a status and a particular jurisdiction that you abide in. Okay, this is law. For example, to know the status of any Negro, Black, or colored person, a seeker must learn the origin and definition of these words. Do not forget these words. These words, y'all ready? So when you call yourself Black, or a Black man or a Black woman that have a Black church or a Black college or a Black business, I want you to hear what you're saying. Do not forget these words were the property labels given to slaves by the slave owners, written into the 1779 United States Constitution, the classification of the 3/4 clause. The 3/5 clause, I'm sorry. The 3/5 clause during that time, as the great Constitution of the USA, which was written, NBC, were those who had been reduced from African nationals to chattel property by the people and for the people. What'd you get out of this? I hope folks hearing me.
Wow.
You know, because we really don't mind hooping and hollering and music and singing and dancing and shaking our booty. But when it comes to now, let's get down to some wisdom, facts, truth. We turn off.
Yeah,
we start yawning.
Yeah,
we go to sleep.
Yeah.
We want a cupcake. Give me a slice of pizza.
Why,
yeah.
Yep.
What are you getting out of this?
So you're saying that the NBC terms that we're so, we've been so proud to wear over the decades and centuries, those terms belong to slave owners that they branded us with, those terms.
Property labels.
Yeah, property labels. Those are not labels to be proud of.
I'm a proud Black man.
You just said you're chattel.
I'm a proud slave for the people, by the people. So this made the slave terms of NBC legally branded upon African descendants and lawfully enforceable by all U.S. courts. In 1857, the United States Supreme Court, the infamous Dred Scott decision, y'all can check this out. The Dred Scott decision upheld the original denationalization intent of the slave and of the slave marks Negro, Blacks, and colored. Later in the 1868 Congressional 14th Amendment, the words all persons born, still meaning commercial property, and incorporating the original 3/5 clause written in the U.S. Do you know what the 3/5 clause is?
Yeah, person, a man of color was considered 3/5 of a man or had 3/5 of a.
So you were part beast.
Yeah, not even a full man.
Not even full man.
3/5 of a man. I think it had to do with voting, and it was all about that.
So if you were from Africa or a slave put in slavery, and you got free from slavery, you still was not considered a man or a woman.
Correct.
You had part beast in you, so they could treat you like crap. You could put chains on somebody.
Okay. I think because I'm thinking of when that was instituted. I don't even know if we had been emancipated then. I think that had to do with a war that was going on, and they were attempting to count like how many people one had versus another. I don't know if it was like North and South. I don't remember everything right now. If I call one of the children down, they'll remember. Mm-hmm. So for every person of color, it was only considered 3/5 of a person compared to Caucasians. So all of this had to do with like voting, whatever war was being fought at the time, and political like power of one group versus another. So because the South had so many people of color versus the North, and so it had to be where they did not have like an automatic advantage in terms of all these people of color. They would have been outnumbered. So it was 3/5 of a person was what we would consider.
Are you familiar with Dred Scott's case?
Yes, but I don't remember. So I'm saying no right now. I don't remember the. Can I call one of the children down?
Yeah. Ephraim.
He's probably doing some schoolwork, but.
Ephraim, Shabbat, Shemila. Maybe they can't hear me. So this case, Dred Scott, as many of you, they made you believe that you are an accepted citizen. And you believe that to this day, that you are an accepted citizen. And the truth is, there's a part of that Constitution that you're not aware of called the 14th Amendment. You are basically a creature or a creation of the 14th Amendment. Okay. This is why everything basically you do, it is marked, it is looked at, it is monitored, because you really ain't free. You think you're free. You're really not free. So they made us. What do you know about? You want to ask them something?
Why is it frozen there? Is it still going?
You have to ask Shema. I have no idea what Shema's doing. We're still on here.
Okay.
You wanted to ask him a question?
Well, you were talking about the Dred Scott decision. You were talking about.
Do you remember the Dred Scott case?
3/5 of a man.
Not the full details of it, but the case involved Dred Scott attempting to flee.
Get a little closer so they can hear you.
Yes. This is Ephraim, by the way. So the Dred Scott case involves a slave by the name of Dred Scott who attempted to flee north. However, he was retrieved by his master because of the Compromise of 1850. No, the Fugitive Slave Act, that is, which allowed slave owners to go north to retrieve their slaves if they fled. So Dred Scott wanted to sue his master. However, the courts would not allow.
For his freedom?
Yes, sue him for attempting to take away his freedom. However, the court system would not allow a slave to do that because slaves were considered property, and they thus did not have the human right to legally sue or be active in court cases.
Okay. And that case never got a finalization on that case, which, and y'all can look this up. that you are still considered property,
Oh, that makes
and
sense.
you're not a citizen.
Wow.
Okay, I don't know
Because
if
of
y'all
that
got
case,
this.
you're
Because of
saying?
that case, you are not. And when
Despite
you
the
and I
emancipation
know people who went to court and they stood on that case, and the judge didn't want to hear it, just like, I'll see y'all later, and never called them back in the courtroom or anything, because you are not considered a citizen. Because if you were a Negro or black or colored, you couldn't be a citizen. Okay, that might went over your
and
head.
that was never overturned.
Never, 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 never. And you don't even want to hear that. They don't even want to talk about that. And you got your elected officials, everybody. Nobody wants to talk about that. Y'all can study that. That nobody even want to deal with that matter no more. You don't hear the church talking about it. You don't hear politicians talking about it. It's just out there in limbo. And the judge back then said that a Negro, black or colored, or Negro or a slave or ex-slave could never be for the people, by the people, could never. When they said for we the people, they were not talking about us. You could never be a citizen. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm gonna read this. And do you know about the 3/5 clause?
3/5 compromise.
Okay, talk to us.
So
you want to come to the camera?
All right.
Just about this is my son.
Hair's not cool.
It's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Tell them about the 3/5. Go ahead.
So the 3/5 compromise involved the northern states and the southern states. Now, the southern states had a really big functional economy because it was primarily focused on slave labor. And as you know, the South had a very large supply of cotton and was really big in cotton production. So the South wanted to have special representation in governmental matters. The northern states and the southern states, as you know, the United States of America was a brand new nation, early 1800s, late 1700s. So the southern states wanted to make sure that they had enough votes to be represented properly in the U.S. government, in the Senate and House of Representatives. So as part of their census, Caucasians would be counted as one person each, or as part of their votes.
So Caucasians were considered
full human beings.
Full human beings, okay.
However, Moorish people, since they were slaves,
they don't know what you mean by Moorish people, so just
okay.
People of color, would that?
Yeah,
people of color,
people that they call,
we don't say black people,
or we can say people that they call the so-called Negro, or the so-called black man, or the so-called colored people.
Yeah.
Okay, so the so-called
correct
black people. Go ahead.
So as for so-called black people, or so-called for so-called Negroes, they would count them as 3/5 of a person. There would be 5 people of color for every 3 Caucasians.
Wow. Did you hear that? It had to be 5 of us. And it had to be 5 of us to equal 3 of them. Ain't that crazy? Wow. Anything else?
Do you want me to talk about anything else?
Go about this subject all day, so
yeah. No, that was good. Thank you very much, Master Ephraim. All right, I got it from here.
Great.
All right. Thank you. So check this out. I want to now. That's a real serious case. Now, y'all might have to go back to this, listen to it again, do your own research, check out the Dred Scott case. Now, I want to continue reading this. So later in 1868, Congressional 14th Amendment, the words "all persons," get that, all persons born. That word, all persons, that's in the 14th Amendment. Now, notice we're Caucasians. It's people. The 14th Amendment, when it deals with you, is persons. Now, you can look up in Black Law's dictionary, persons is called a monster or a beast.
Yeah, person is a beast.
Black's Law Dictionary. Get the oldest one you can find, because they try to hide that. It means monster, beast, not something completely human.
Yeah.
And in the 14th Amendment, the words all persons born still means commercial property, and incorporating the original 3/4 clause written in the U.S. Constitution made the newly free NBC, every time I say NBC, that's Negro, Black, Color. They made the NBC believe he and she are citizens. Even to this day. And some of you could prove it to me by your passport, you think, and your birth certificate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's a whole nother story. Truth is, there is none who is able to make any property a citizen as long as it continue to self-claim the name of property. So if you self-claim the name of you are black, you cannot be a citizen because you're property.
Oh my goodness.
This is why they do whatever they want with you in courts, et cetera, et cetera. Listen again. It's the original 3/4 clause written in the U.S. Constitution made the newly freed NBC believe he and she are citizens. Truth is, there is none who is able to make any property a citizen as long as it continues to self-claim the name of property and is still nationalized through ownership of another government. Truth is, the definition of the words NBC has never been changed in Webster's or law dictionaries. Neither any of the three branches of the United States government that have jointly enslaved the nationals of Northwest and Southwest shores of Africa. The problem with getting this message across to those that need to know is the pre-measured Negro mentality will naturally reject its own freedom and deliverance.
Oh my Lord.
And some of you right here, there are people, they already left. They already turned off because you reject your own freedom and deliverance and identity. And you have been programmed that you rather be subject and property than be God's product, offspring, son.
Lord have mercy, you talking right. Don't mess.
Are you getting this?
Don't upset Master by talking about this stuff.
That's right.
That's the thing.
I want to be a good slave.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, it's really sick. Now, I'm just getting started.
Ooh, this is good.
I'm just getting started. What are you getting in this, dear? And you heard me talk about this for years.
I've heard you talk about this for years. I've heard you talking about it many times. You know, we did not use the word black to refer to ourselves at all, let alone Negro or colored. So I already know a lot of what you're saying, but oh my goodness, what you just read was fire. Oh my gosh, we would rather not even rename ourselves than and reject our own freedom than to accept what you're saying.
Yeah, we don't even want to accept it. We don't even want to accept our freedom.
And I've heard you talk about this so many times. And rather than people, you know, most people, the majority of people feeling like, oh, thank you so much for telling me this. I feel so liberated. I'm going to take what you say and I'm going to, you know, really walk in my identity, not just my God-given identity in spirituality, but also in my nationality or in my, you know, color or in my, you know, true ethnicity. Instead of a lot of them saying that, a lot of them get upset. A lot of them turn off. A lot of them just, you know, oh, you were talking good, long you were talking about all that other stuff. Why you gotta start talking about this color stuff, this race stuff, this? Oh yeah,
God. I cleaned the church out just talking. I cleaned. People were like, oh, I love your message. Oh, your preaching is great. Oh, you're anointed. Oh, this is great. Oh, you do wonderful things for the seniors and so forth. I had a bunch of seniors. They just jetted.
And the more, well, we say Moorish, the Moorish ones, the people of color got upset with you faster than the Caucasian ones who were coming.
Oh, I've been threatened. I've been
mean,
I've been threatened. I've been
Mm.
all kinds of stuff labeled as,
Wow.
I mean, which is crazy. I'm just speaking what truth is in,
Yeah.
in history
Yeah.
and law.
Yeah.
Law,
Ooh.
Bible, church,
Wow.
history.
Mm.
But we rather know his story than our story.
Mm. That
Now,
is deep. So, like, say a table could never be considered a person.
no, how could it be?
Yeah, and especially, you know, like you're saying, we can never be considered human if we're not a person, because you said the person is a beast, which I
Person's a monster and a beast.
You
Yeah,
know
I can look
what?
at Black's Law Dictionary.
I do not like referring to myself as a person. I remember you said that before, and you know what I hear a lot on these dating shows we like to watch, when a person says, "Oh, I found my I don't like to consider myself a person, but I hear other people say, "I found my person." I found my person.
And then they go ahead and get with them, and they don't realize the vibration in that word person is a monster. And then later on you hear them go, "Oh my God, they were such a monster." Yeah. Yeah. See, we don't realize the power of words, the vibration of words, the mysticism of words, and we don't go into etymology. So we lose a lot of meaning and power and definitions because we don't go back into where did this first came from. Okay, let me go a little bit more into this. And like I said, I'm thinking about just putting all three of these books. I don't know if I should keep them separate or just put them together.
Yeah.
The Black Man Caught in the God. Because you really need to see this and understand this, and what God calls and what God calls you, and what this thing about Black really is. Now you might say, so what? You're not for Black history? No, I'm for history of our people. But what has been labeled, it is completely whacked and completely wrong. So listen to this. The problem, listen to this, lady woman. The problem with getting this message across to those that need to know is the pre-measured Negro mentally will naturally reject his own freedom.
Yeah.
It is difficult for such a mind, I'm repeating because you need to hear it. It is difficult for such a mind to comprehend anything which is not first sanctioned by the masters of their mental slavery.
Please read that again.
It is difficult for such a mind to comprehend anything which is not first sanctioned by the masters of their mental slavery. Now, I'm going to tell you, I love my mother dearly. I love her dearly. I could tell my mother something about holistic health and holistic healing and about something. Mom, this herb is good for this. Why don't you start taking this herb? And she might go, oh, okay. She might take it, might not. She'll come back to me 2 months later. Do you know, Bishop? Do you know what I heard Dr. Oz said? I'm like, Dr. Oz said, I said, Mom, I told you about that 2 months ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. I told you about that. Now, the difference in Dr. Oz and me,
a white man in a white coat.
He has a different complexion than I do.
Yeah.
So I've heard people say, you know what? Y'all might have heard this story. There was a man of African descent. He had a store, and there's another man, a Caucasian. I call it European. I do not like saying white man. You'll understand in a minute why I don't say white, because it means pure and superior. All right. And every time you say white man, you would just put yourself. And I'm not teaching hate. I'm teaching identity and for you to love yourself.
Right.
So, so the man across the street, he sold ice, and the man of color, he sold ice. But his own people were going across the street getting the ice from there. And the ice cost more money. So the man started questioning his people, the man of color, why do you go over there? My ice is cheaper. Because his ice is colder.
I heard that.
His ice is colder. See, unless something is sanctioned by your master, your ex-master,
Yeah.
you don't think is legit.
True.
And this is not that it's better, it's that you've been programmed.
Yeah.
There's some people pop it on and pop it off. Can't take it. You've been programmed.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I've heard my dad do awesome messages and teaching on faith and prosperity and holiness. And I've heard some of the same members that heard him. They went and saw Kenneth Hagin or Kenneth Copeland or Roberts or R.W. Shambach and came back and said, Pastor, you know, I heard R.W. Shambach preached such and such, and that was so good. Now I know you preached it too, but it just opened up. And I'm like, I wanna, and I was much young, I wanna slap him, I wanna kick him, because you just showed me, even though you ain't on the cotton field anymore, yet you still are a part of that system of slavery.
True.
Woo! Lady Womack, what you got to say about that? I'm going to read this again and tell me what you got to say about this. It is difficult for such a mind to comprehend anything which is not first sanctioned by the masters of their mental slavery. What you got to say about that?
Slavery runs deep, generation to generation, even after it's over, long after it's gone, it's still in people's cells and DNA. And you're right that we don't believe something until Master has said it oftentimes, and so it takes someone like you to educate us. And not everyone's going to want to hear this, but the ones who do, somebody can get free.
Now,
I used to have a lot of these conversations with my brother.
Really?
A lot of those conversations. One of the ways he, first heard about you was he was in Tunde Dada.
Yeah.
And he picked up your book. Yeah.
So he picked up this one then.
That
probably.
book. Yeah. Because he's always been curious about that.
Really this was 1988, man. Mm-hmm. 1988. So what did your brother say?
For him, the Bible did not really come alive. I remember him he said he would like read through it and just like, kind of lose interest or fall asleep while he was reading it. And he said once he realized that there's such a strong, I'll say Moorish presence in the Bible, but we were back then saying black presence.
Or you can say African presence.
Yeah, African presence in the Bible. Back then they were saying black presence in the Bible. But once he realized there was such a strong African presence in the Bible, he became just so interested, and it just really came,
Yeah, because y'all been lied to and told that where is it?
It's the so-called white man's book, that people think it is.
Y'all been lied to, and they told y'all this is a white man's book. Man, that is a big lie. Actually, what I want to do too, I want to offer. I'll send y'all this. It's a CD. A lot of people don't play CDs no more, but you can get yourself a CD player. You can download it, and there's the last song on there, "Endless Possibilities." You want to actually play that all year long, because really, man, woman that are created in his image and his likeness, you have endless possibilities. You just don't know it. You got these slave labels on you that are holding you bound. They want you to be in chains, but I want you to change. I want you to go from the mental chains and get your spiritual change that will affect every avenue and dimension of your life. And I will get these out to you. I won't get out to you this week. I'll get out to you next week, because we're in our weekend, our Sabbath weekend. But I can get this out to you next week. Some of you have already sent these out to you in the mail, and I'll pay the postage. You got your little lotion and stuff on here. I'll pay the postage and the handling and get it out to you. And it's called "You Can Bounce Back from Your Setback." You can bounce back from your setback. I did this some time ago too. Actually, when did I do this? This 2005. So I'm resurrecting a whole lot of this, because one thing about truth, it's never outdated, never expires, never changes. It's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Even though I wrote this book back in 1988, the truth is still in here. And even though this was done 2005, it still can change your life. And even though this was done, my God, so over 2,000 years ago, it still is truth. And the highest religion of all religions is basically truth. It's not Rasta being a Rasta. It's not being a Buddhist. It's not embracing Zen. It's not being Church of God in Christ, Fire Baptized Holiness, Baptist, Pentecostal. It's truth. And that's all I'm doing is sharing truth. I'm sharing with you law. I'm sharing with you biblical truth. I'm sharing with you science. And it's your choice to accept it or receive it, or better yet, how about investigate it to see if I lost my mind? Okay, that's the best bet. Yeah, just be open and just investigate.
Yeah.
And you will be surprised of what revelation knowledge will come to you. Let me take this a little deeper. Go a little deeper with this. In fact, the changing of slave labels, and some of you don't notice this, but the change of slave labels take place every 10 years. Every 10 years. The changing.
How often does money change? Is it
money changes? It changes often. I wouldn't say as fast as 10 years. They kind of stretch it out a little bit more, 15, 20 years. Because remember when we first met, I told you money was going to change.
Yes,
you thought I was a crackpot, and money changed already 4 times. And the average person don't even know it. It actually changed.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I wonder if it was linked at all, even like on a subliminal message.
But there are tons of labels now that my people, they don't even know that they have that these labels have taken place. Now the ones that are so evident because you've been bombarded with is going back to the 50s and the 60s is Negro, and then black, and then colored, and then we don't know this term African American is a made up term as well. But we got so many more even after that the average person don't even think about. That's we think is cool. You know, brother goes to the barbershop, he meets another brother, and he fits about how my dog, yeah, dog, yo, dog. And to us, it's like, whoa, that's supposed to be cool. Don't realize that's just another slave label.
Yeah.
What was the first thing that they did and got for runaway slaves? They got dogs. Dogs to hunt you out.
Yes.
And we don't realize when we call each other dog, we're set up to spy and hunt each other out and tell on each other. It's the same thing, but we don't think about that. It's just a cool term, dog.
Yeah.
Which is they always reverse the true identity, and the reverse dog is God.
Okay, I'm gonna put you out there now. How do you feel about the term NIGGER? Because some people feel like, well, I call my
that's a whole nother one.
To take control of that term. Like some people feel like, well, if I use it, I have ownership of it.
I'm going to save that because I want to do a whole message on nigga. I want to do a whole message on that. I want to do a whole message on. I want to do a whole.
Beat that out?
No, people say all kinds of stuff on here. Okay. Are you kidding? If they did, I just go somewhere else. Go to another channel. Now I want to do a whole message on that because if I start with that, it's going to detour me from what I'm talking about. But I want to do a whole message on that because man. But I'm telling you, every 10 years, I give you a whole bunch of names that y'all just used to, and it's normal and natural, like African American. I would say almost everybody you know that is a person of color from African descent, they have accepted Black and African American and have no problem with it.
Yeah,
they absolutely have no problem with it, and will fight you if you say that's not who you really are. That's not who you really are. All right. Should I continue or should I stop? So, in fact, the changing of slave labels every 10 years, if placed to music with a congenial beat, is more acceptable.
Oh, my Lord have mercy.
than the search for one's free national name. That's why you hear the song, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga. Ooh, see, I ain't supposed to. Are you kidding? There are a bunch of songs, my nigga, rap, hip hop. It is all. Come on, my nigga. See, it's constantly in many songs, and as long as some music to it, it's acceptable because it's hypnotic. This got to be cool.
Song, James Brown.
Which one?
Say It Loud.
Oh, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Oh yeah, it's more acceptable than the search for one's free name. The histories of human slavery reflect ruling governments have traditionally used slaves in high positions of trust in domestic and foreign affairs. Did you get that? They'll use entertainers and take those individuals that are their slaves and bring them up, give them some money, give them some jewelry, give them a car, give them a nice house, etc., to enforce basically their agenda.
Wow.
So responsibilities and compensations did not alter their status of servitude. No matter how much money you give a slave, they still a slave. No matter how many houses, rings, and jewelry you give a slave, they're still a slave. So responsibilities and compensations, it does not alter their status of servitude. Wow. Yet today, the NBC, owned by the USA, think their slave conditions are ended because of the carrots dangling of a Clarence Thomas, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan, and nevertheless, the carnal customs of man will not alter the nature of truth. And just because, and I can put Tyler Perry in here too. I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't care. Tyler Perry, and some of you women might not like this, but Tyler Perry's movies, the majority of them, they make men of color look terrible and bad. Terrible and bad.
Yeah.
And a lot of you say, that's because they're terrible and bad.
No. I got a good one.
And there are a lot of good ones. And a lot of you are keeping yourself from the good ones because y'all watching those movies that are programming you, expecting a cheater or someone to disappoint you or someone to actually leave you. And guess what? Wow. You could watch those movies. They could be attorneys in the movies and doctors and lawyers. And guess what? They still ain't no good. Yeah. And maybe it might be his experience. It might be his experience. Yeah. Maybe it's his experience. Your experience don't mean it's my experience. Correct. And I don't even really want your experience. Are you getting this? Yeah. What do you say about that, dear? I'm not picking on nobody. I'm just saying I don't want to see those movies. Right. And it's just your prerogative. You can watch anything you want. But if I was a woman and I want to get married, I'm not going to be putting that in my spirit because especially if I'm in my 30s and my 40s and my 50s, I'm watching those movies. That's keeping what I want from me. Yeah. You're not going to actually get the husband that you desire because you're putting in some negative type of drama. And if you do meet a good man, you done already changed them because this is see now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now fear is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And you're going to find that which I greatly feared. That's what Job said. That which I greatly feared has come upon me. Yeah. So you're going to get the same crap of what you've been watching. Correct. And it's now, if you want to watch Tyler Perry movies, they're definitely entertaining. Definitely entertaining. Sure. But there's something about entertainment. Remember I told y'all, if we add some music to something or a drama or a movie, we'll get you to accept it. Yeah. Wow. And guess what? That's another type of slavery. Have a bad relationship. That's another enslavement. Have a bad relationship. Have a bad woman. Have a bad man, and just feel you're in wedlock. You can't do nothing about it. No. See, you got to go back to this, y'all.
Yes,
this
Lord.
book that they lied to y'all and told y'all this is the white man book. I'm telling y'all, if I had some time, I could show you in here. You're in here all over the place.
Yes.
I don't see a whole lot of them in here, but I see you all over here.
Yes.
This is not what they told you.
Amen.
They lied to you.
Yeah.
So you keep away from principle.
That is true.
All right.
Very true. I had that conversation with somebody who worked at the grocery store, Whole Foods, and she was just saying, "Oh, men are no good. Men are no good." And she was a woman of color, so I know she was talking about men of color, and I said, "That's not true of all men at all." I said,
No.
"I have a very good one." I said, "That might just be, what you're experiencing."
No, there's a lot of good men. There's a lot of good brothers. I'm telling you, y'all keeping them away because your mentality has been enslaved to expect someone to treat you bad. There's some good ones. And yes, men make mistakes just like y'all make mistakes. But that doesn't mean, just because a man makes a mistake, doesn't mean that he's good. And I would tell you to check how did you get involved? What did you do that
contributed to, still his choice that he makes.
Oh, yeah.
But,
everybody make choices.
Right. But how you maybe contributed to the choice that he made, so.
Because today we got more women of color, age 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, single. Want to be married, not married. Married, we're marriage, man, years ago. And I know some of y'all say, well, I ain't for, nah, it ain't good for man to be alone, nor woman either. See, and so you just accepted it. I don't want to get married. That's a lie. I would say the majority of people, nobody wants to be by themselves and nobody wants to die alone. This is another lie that they done sold y'all. And really, oh, Jesus. Another lie that they sold y'all that you accepted. And look what it's doing for our people. Look what it's doing for our people. The family is God's original idea. The family is holy. It's God's original idea. And I'm not talking about, oh, well, I have a son, or I have a daughter, or I have sons and daughters, but the man ain't in the house. I'm talking about a family. I'm talking about a complete unit with the father, the mother, and the children in the household.
Amen.
Something has happened to that picture, and they told you a lot of lies, such as, girl, you don't need no man. See, your Aunt Jamie, your Aunt Sophie, and all. They told you don't need no man. Go ahead and get your money, get your education. And as you get older and older, you like, whoa, I like to have a man in the house, whatever. And now you've been so indoctrinated with that negative doctrine.
Yeah.
And it's like your market value is it done depleted so bad. You got like 3 stomachs, 3 boobs, 3. No, you know what I'm talking about. It's you overweight. The Lord, and you talking about. I want a man to make. I want to make $3 million a year, and you barely make 15,000, and it's crazy. This is crazy. What you got to say about that, babe? I wrote something down. I don't know what I did with the note.
But you took that thought. Oh, honey, you have a conference.
Oh, what time
is this?
Oh, yes, I do. All right, folks, listen.
Finish you up.
Maybe afterwards, right?
Yeah, I have to.
Okay. Wow.
You're not gonna be on camera on your conference.
No. All right.
We're showing the world.
Okay. Go ahead. I need to get.
I can work a little bit more.
No, I need to set up now.
Okay.
I need to set up. All right, we ain't done. I'm coming because I didn't even get into this thing called black yet. I want to show you what the law states, what the dictionary states, what the Bible says, what science says, why you should not call yourself black. Okay?
Yeah.
What'd you get out of this, dear?
Oh, I'm glad that you touched on people's experience in terms of like what they've been trained to believe, because that's a lot of it when people say, oh, there's no good, or women say there's no good men, is because that's what they've been told, that's what they've been trained to believe. Even the one that they see in their home or absent from their home, they're still going often by a narrative.
I got a challenge for you, because I've done this. I do this for a living. I minister to people. If you're serious, now I've offered this to some women in my church and they did not jump at it, so I just left it alone. But if you ain't got to go to my church, but it doesn't matter. But if you're serious and you want to get married and you are you're at the age of 25, I would say between 25 and 50, okay? Because usually people over 50, it's like you almost can't do nothing with them. I'm just telling you, you almost can't do anything with them. But from 25 to 50, and you serious, you want to get married, call me. Let me see if I can put my number there. You call me, there go my number, and you give me 1 year to coach you. I guarantee that you will get married. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Now, don't do what most women do. File for divorce. Ooh. Most women file for divorce, or they do this, or they bring up divorce, and they can't understand why they're not married. It's like, think about it. I mean, I've counseled so many people who brought a divorce first. She brought a divorce. Yeah. Now you home by yourself, and you like, I want to get married. You never bring up divorce if you want to be married. Get to whatever argument you want. Don't put that. I call it the damn word. The damn word is called divorce. You will damn your marriage soon as you start bringing up divorce. I'm telling you, give me 1 year. Give me 1 year to coach you. And I'm telling you, in 1 year, if you're serious, because you really don't want to be playing around anyway. Anyway. Yeah. That's it. All right, babe, I gotta go.
Okay.
I hope y'all got something out of this. Give me some comments. I want to see comments here after I'm done. What did you get out of this? If you got something out of it, didn't get out anything, I'm gonna say I didn't get nothing out of this. It's like, okay, end up. I accept that. All right, because I ain't for everybody anyway. My teaching ain't for everybody. Just like restaurants ain't for everybody. Some people want Chinese. Some people want Mediterranean. Some people want Italian. Some people want Ethiopian. All right. So there you go. God bless you. I'm Bishop Shamar Womack-El saying I see you going one place. It's up, 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 and over the top. Peace.